For Shleima Filan Chaya Basarach. We're all the way on the bottom of Daf Nun Hey Amid Beis. One line from the 2 lines from the bottom. Amar Yudah Mishmul. Ein Chayav Mishum Tumah. There's basically three things that are three usages of the Azara. One rule is that you're not allowed to come into the Azara, into the Beis Hamikdash when you're Tameh. One is that Kachim Kalim could be shechted. The shechita of Kachim Kalim could be anywhere in the Azara. And the third thing is that Kachim can be eaten in the Azara. So we're talking about, this Brisa talks about this Mishnah, not Mishnah, this Gemara says, Amar Yudah Shmuel, Ein chayav mishum tuma el al oirech mei u'shmoinim v'sheva al roichav mei v'shloishim v'chamesh. The amount, the size of the Beis Hamikdash, the Azara, is 187 amas by 135 amas. The same thing. That's what the size of the Azara was. This is what my father said, Reb Abba's father, Reb Nachman's father said. In this Azara, in the Beis Hamikdash, Kahanim nichnasim l'sham. The Kahanim could go in there, va'ichlin sham kachei kachim. They were allowed to eat, like we said, they could eat kachei kachim there. V'sheichtim sham kachim kalim, and that's where they do the shechita of kachim kalim. Kachei kachim are only shechted in the tzafon of the near the mizbeach. V'chayav mishum tumah, and the third thing is yichayev for eating betumah, for coming into their betumah. Lamute mai. What are we saying that this is the extent? What are we excluding? If it's coming to exclude windows and doors and the width of the wall itself, meaning I think these numbers are the outside of the wall, and this is coming to tell you that the actual width of the wall. That means the doors and the windows, which are obviously inside the wall, that these are not going to be, you're not going to be chayiv tumah for these areas. Tanina, we say that the windows and the doors, and the windows and the thickness of the wall are treated like part of the Azara. So another possibility, maybe it's coming to exclude doors that open up. That means we have a picture of the Beis Hamikdash. We see those pretty pictures and the models. It doesn't show this, but they used to have, coming into the outside of the walls of the Azara, there were rooms on the outside that opened up into the Azara. That's coming to tell you that those the insides of those rooms are not considered to be part of the Azara. It's not going to have these rules that it's, if someone goes in there, betumah, they're going to be chayiv. I think, let me see what the base is in the so it says it takes away the vav. If it's talking about where these rooms are outside of the area of the Azara and they're just opened up into it, we say that their insides are kodesh. They're not considered. We have a Mishnah that says that they're kodesh. This Mishnah is in Psachim. And for the Gemara, midrabanan. No, that when it says it's kodesh, only means midrabanan. And that midrabanan, they said you can't come in there betumah, but it was not. It's not fully considered to be part of the Azara. Correct, Gemara, deraisa loy. Is that true? And midaraisa, it's not considered kodesh. Vatanya lishkis benuyas b'chayil psuchas l'kodesh. If you have a room opened up that's outside of the Azara and it's opened up into the Kodesh, into the Azara. I mean, how do the Kehanim go there and eat their kachei kachim? B'shiyarei mincha, and the share mincha are the leftovers of a mincha, which is also kachei kachim. But since it's not an animal, the Mishnah lists it separately, the Brisa lists it separately. The Torah said there's additional chatzeris etzel achila achas. That means the achilas can be even not just in the azara per se, but also into these additional rooms that open up into the azara. So you see that, and that's midaraisa. There's no way that midarabanan they could be geyser that it should be treated as kodesh and you could eat kachim. It's one thing for the rabbanon to say that midarabanan was saying if you're tameh you can't go in there. That the rabbanon could do, but they can't make something that's midaraisa chutzla azara. It's not considered kodesh and say you could eat it. So that must be daraisa. Amarava lachila shiny. Where it says no. Einachanami legabe achila. It's midaraisa considered to be part of the azara. Avlinian tuma loy. But legabe tuma midaraisa, it's not considered to be. It's not part of the azara. That means when the Torah was ribsa chatzeris harbe, it was only legabe achila. That did not include the legabe tuma. Practically more about Tanya. Is it true that legabe tuma it's not considered midaraisa part of the Zarav Tanya? Lishkas habnuyas l'chayil, the rooms that are built outside of the Azara, outside of the Beis Hamikdash, psuchas l'kodesh and opening up into the Kodesh. Kehanim nechnasum sham va'eichel sham kachay kachim. It's considered to be part of the Kodesh. Legabe, as far as that the Kehanim could eat there. So that's midaraisa. It's considered Kodesh. But you're not allowed to shech kachim kalim there. So in that sense, it's not considered to be kodesh. But it is considered kodesh. The yichayev mishum tumah. Chayav means that yichayev to bring a chatas for if someone eats tumah there b'shayik. So with this brisa has in two ways it's considered to be kodesh. Legabi achila and legabi tumah, but legabi shchita it's not. Zok the Gemara. So l'chayra, this is shver. So how could you say that it's only l'ein achila, that it's considered to be midaraisa? But we're saying over here, it's also midaraisa considered to be. It's not just. You can't. So it's not just legabe achila, but it's also legabe tuma. It's considered to be midaraisa. So it's not just coming from that pasuk of which we thought was a pasuk that was limited to achila. So the Gemara lav amrit ein sheichtem. The Gemara says no. So you have to amend that brisa. It said you can't shecht it in that sense that it's not considered to be kodesh taninami ein chayavin. So we're going to have to change that the Mishnah, it doesn't, the Gemara is really saying a taina. It doesn't make sense. How do you come to such a conclusion that it should be partially legabi achila and legabi tuma, it should be considered kodesh? So you have to take away this ein chayavin because it doesn't make sense. Either you have the pasuk that tells you about legabi achila and the other two are excluded, but there's no justification for saying that it's considered to be kodesh for achila and for tumah, but not for shchita. So therefore, it must be that this was a mistake. That which we said chayavin, it must be ein chayav mishum tumah. And then we're back to what we said before that like achila is different because you have a pasuk, but for all other things, it's not considered kodesh. Sagt no, bishlama ein sheichtem b'inei keneged hapesach v'leka. I could tell you that really it's considered. Your taina is not a taina because really it could be in all senses. It really is considered to be kodesh. But the reason why you can't shech kachim kalim is because, like we had on the previous amud, there's a specific rule that says even in the even in the azara, you can't shecht unless it's opposite the door. And that we had all those different doors on the back of the ulam and behind the aron kodesh, behind the kachim, to make it that those places are allowed to have kachim that could have kachim shechted there. But maybe these lishkas are considered to be fully part of the heichal, which was the taina. It's either one or the other. And the only reason why Shechita was not allowed because it's lacking in this specific rule that you have to have the you have to have the shechita be opposite a door, and there's no door of the going into the heichal that's open that can see these doors, these rooms. So Bishlam mentioned amai. Why would it be ein chayav? There's no need to say ein chayav, and so it could be that it's talking about fakert, that it is part of the azar, and we could leave it the way we originally read the Bryce, the original version of the Bryce. So tomorrow l'tamech ein sheichtim mias liaskina de keshchita can get a Pesach. Because says that, but the Gemara says that doesn't make sense what you're suggesting. That really it's part of the Kiddush, but the shechita was an exclusion. You can't shech there because it's not opposite the door. What are you talking about? It must be talking about where these rooms are opposite the door into the heichal. You know, they have an opening, and you can see directly into the room toward where the Pesach is. The leka, because if that's not the case, lamai itzrich. What do we need this brisa to tell you? We already learned separately that you need Keneged Pesach. So it's telling you that this room that doesn't have an opening in Keneged Pesach, why would it have to tell you that? Al Abagav Nikashachet Keneged Pesach. Tani ain't Sheikh, Mishum Deloy Kaddish. Tani Nami ain't Chayav. So that's why we feel we're justified to change the lashon of instead of Chayavin, Mishum Tumah to ain't Chayav. So the Gemara says, so we've come to the conclusion. So what we're saying is that really the lishka is not part of the azara, but lagabe achila, the Torah was marbet. But Gemara achila being Keneged Pesach, but we're saying that it's talking about we're saying that we could distinguish it. Could say the reason why that room would not theoretically not be, if it was not opposite the doorway, it wouldn't, you wouldn't be able to shech there. That should also make it that you can't eat kachim kalam there, kachim there. But Tanya basically we learned this Bryce in the previous summit that there were the two little openings, two small doors on the back of the ulam toward the part of the azara that wasn't facing the entrance into the heichal. We say we need those doors not just for shchitas kachim kalam, but also for achilas kachim. So you see, you do need Keneged Pesach for achila, just like you need it for shchita. Amaravina sami kan achila. Yes, enachanam, you have to take out of that price. That doesn't mean to be machshir achila. It's just to be machshir shchita. In fact, the Gemara. It says Lagabi the shlamim that was brought. I'm sorry, not the shlamim. I think these were chatoyis or minchas. I think it's chatoyis that were brought by the chinuch of the Mishkan, and the Torah is saying that it has to be keneged oyel mayid. So you see, neged keneged mayid. Oil made for achila as well. That's only a one-time thing. That was only for the chinuch of the Beis Hamikdash, but generally there's no restriction of where the achila of kachim is as far as being opposite the Pesach Oyel Mayid. Pesach Oyel Mayid is only relevant generally legabe shchitus of kachim kal. Okay, we're at the 2 dots, 4 lines, 5 lines from the bottom of Nun Vav Amarav. Amar Yisuk Bar Budimi. So there are really, let's see, there are 3 deadlines in a carbon when you start making a carbon. The first deadline is, first of all, we know that carbonas have to be brought, the avodah has to be done by day. So it's always going to be during a day. And when you bring the carbon, you shech the carbon. That's going to see in the Gemara, but this is going to be the conclusion of the Gemara as well, even though the Gemara will suggest other possibility for a second. But generally, the rule is that karbanos have to be brought by day, and then the whole avodah has to be finished that day. except for bringing the whole avodas hadam, I should say. Everything up to zrika must be done that day. And then you have the following night and day to eat the basar of that carbon. You can also do the emurim, and after that, well, there's different karbanas. The shlomim is going to have a different period of time of when you can eat the carbon. It's going to be, instead of that day, the day that you brought the carbon, the rest of the day, the carbon plus the night, that will be for kachim kachim and some kachim kalim. And the shlomim, you have that day, the day of the carbon was brought, the night plus the following day. And then, so that's the second limit of how long it is you could eat the carbon, the bus of the carbon. And then there's another limit of when you're going to be chayif and noiser. So the Gemara is going to get a little bit into that, but generally the time that you can burn the noiser is the following morning. Right? So you could stop eating the basar of a carbon, of a regular carbon, a non-shlomim. You could stop eating it that night, and that at the second night you're no longer able to eat it, and then the following morning you can burn the noiser, what's left over. So how do we know that if you have dam at the end of the day you shechted your carbon and it becomes shkiyas achama, you no longer can bring that dam? It's too late. You can't wait for the following day, and certainly not at night when you're not allowed to do the avodah. But you can't wait for the following day and finish the avodah. Shene'amar b'yom hakrivei zivchai yoichel, which we darshan b'yom she'ata zeveach ata makriv. On the day that you do zivchai, which means you shechted, you have to be makriv it that same day. She'ata yezavech b'yom she'ata zeveach yata makriv. But a day that you didn't shecht it, the following day you're no longer able to bring the dam on the mizbech. How could you say that this pasuk is telling you this? This pasuk, if you look at the pasuk, is v'neder and nadav zevachim v'yam krivi azivcha yochel umimachras. You can read it that day and the next day. V'anoisim menu yochel. And if you can eat the nice, you're going to get a lot. But it's coming to tell you that you have 2 days and 1 night to eat a shlamim. How could you say it's coming to tell you this din about the dam, the limit that you can only be makar of the dam on the same day that it was shechted? So what does it have to say b'yom hakrivei zivchai? Just say b'yom zivchai yachal and l'machrasa, and then the following day. What is the word hakrivei? Shmamina b'yom she'ata zevech ata makar b'yom she'ata zevech yata makar. It's coming to tell you this limitation. You can only be makar of the dam. You can only do the zrika sadam or the nesiyas sadam on the mizbeach on the same day as the shechita. In fact, the Gemara v'dilma hachikamar rachmana ikar of dam ha'idna nisachal basar idna ulamachar. It's saying maybe it's saying on the day that you're makar of the dam, that's when you eat the basar. You could eat it that day and the following day. Ikar of dam lamachar nisachal basar lamachar liyumach ochra. This is what I said, that the Gemara will contemplate for a hot minute the possibility that you don't actually have to bring the dam on the same day as the shechita. And what the pasuk is telling you is that whatever day it is that you end up bringing the dam, that's when it starts the statute of limitations of that you have a day, 2 days and 1 night to eat the shlamim. Maybe it's just coming to tell you that that's when it starts. You have two days from whenever it is, but you don't necessarily have to be zayrik the dam, finish the avodas dam on the same day of the shechita. So that can't be. What does it have to say zivchai? It's say on the day that you bring it, you should eat it. It's only on the day that you were shechted that you could be makar. Itma. So this is going to bring up an interesting question. Right? So we said, let's remind ourselves. We said that when you bring a carbon shlamim, so carbon shlamim, you do it, let's say, on Sunday afternoon. You bring your carbon shlamim, so you have to be zarek the dam that day, and then you have that night, and the following day, and then You have 2 days, and then you have instead of being finished, being able to eat it that night, you have also the whole day of Monday to eat your shlamim. What happens if someone has a machshava that he's going to eat his carbon shlamim on Monday night? So he's allowed to eat it Monday, and he has in mind to eat it Monday night. Chizki Amma kosher. Chizki says that's not a machshavas pigel. Rabbi Yechon Amma pasel. Rabbi Yechon says it's pasel. Chizki Amma kosher. Chizki, why would it be kosher? It's past the time that you're allowed to eat it. Doli intik l'sreifa. You still are not allowed to burn the carbon as nicer until Tuesday morning. It has to be on the third day that you could burn it. You can't burn it that night. So that night, not Monday night, is sort of a no man's land. It's too late for him. He's not allowed to eat it anymore. It's nicer in the sense that he can't eat it, but it's not yet nice that it has a chiyuv to burn it. Rabbi Yechon says it doesn't make a difference. If you have a machshava to eat it past the time of achila, that makes it pigel. Now, okay, so that's the din legabe pigel. What's the din about someone who ate it on Monday night? Chizki Amma Potter. Chizki says he's going to be Potter from the din of chorus that you get for noiser for eating something past its time. It's still not fully noiser in the sense that it's not ready to be burnt. He says it's chayiv because it was pushed away. It's no longer able to be nechal. Tanya kavas Rabbi Yochanan and kosher nechal l'yoyim echad. Mechashim b'dama mishetishka hachama. Of b'sam reimura mishiyala amayda shacha. We have a brayso like Rabbi Yochanan that says kachim that are eaten for one day, meaning not like the shlamim, let's say like a chatas. So you could have a machshava that will passel the dam as pigel. If you have in mind, let's say you're going to do the zrikas dam after that night, right? You have to do zrika the same day. If it's a regular carbon, not a shlamim, so you have until the morning to eat the basar and to bring the emurim. So if he has in mind past that morning, he's going to be chayiv for a machshavas pigel. And a shlamim that's eaten for 2 days, as well as I think the taida that's eaten for 2 days and one night. There, it's going to be considered pigel if he has in mind for that night. So you see, like Rabbi Yochanan, and not like who is chaylik on Rabbi Yochanan? Chizkiah, and not like Chizkiah. So I'm sorry, I stopped him. And the basar, when it's going to be shkis achama of the 2 days, that's immediately going to be he's going to be chayiv for having a machshava that he's going to eat it past that time. You don't have to wait for the next morning. I might think that the basar of a shlamim could be eaten, like we said, let's say it was brought on Sunday. So we said it's 2 days and one night, so that would be Sunday night and Monday. Maybe you could even eat it on Monday night, the dinu. And I would tell you from a kava, I would learn it out. Some karbanos are only eaten for 1 day, meaning 1 day and one night. And some are eaten for 2 days, like a shlom. Just like all the other karbanos get the 1 day and one night, the night afterwards would also be included. So it says, it's only by day that it can be eaten. Once the night comes, that's the end of the period of permissibility for a shlam. I might think, okay, so if you're saying that it's over after the night, and it's no longer able to be after the day, once it becomes night, it can't be eaten anymore. Maybe you can burn it right away, vidinu. That you're allowed to eat it for a day and a night, and once the night passes, it's a day, you're allowed to burn it right away. Maybe I should say, though, these shlamim also will have the same din that it should be burnt at night, immediately after the Zman Achila is over. You don't have to serve it, but you have to serve it. We also have a limit, so you can't burn it at night. So to Mishnah. Habachar v'hamaiser v'apesach kachim chalim. Bachar and Meiser and Pesach. So Bachar, let's review. It's always good to review things. The Bachar is an animal. Certain animals that are born, that when they're born, you have to give it to the Kohen, and the Kohen brings it as a carbon Bachar, which is very similar to a Shlomim in most ways. And a Meiser is also the Meiser Behema, and this is an animal. Every 10th animal the owner brings to Yerushalayim. He has to eat it in Yerushalayim. He brings it as a carbon and eats it in Yerushalayim. And Pesach, well, we know what the carbon Pesach is. That's brought on Erev Pesach and eaten the night of Pesach. So kachim kalim shkitasim b'chol. They're kachim kalim, and they can be shechted b'chol makom ba'azara. They are shechted any place in Azara. V'dam and tad matana achas. They only need one matana. So we've said the chatas needs 4 matanas on the kronis. The other karbonis, the other kachim kalim or chatas, even it's even other kachim is other than chatas. They all need shnayim shehem achas, and these 3 only need matana achas, as Rashi explains, and the Gemara is going to explain, because the Torah doesn't say saviv by it. It doesn't say you should do it saviv, so therefore it doesn't need more than one. It just needs one matana. But it's restricted that it can only be thrown. The zrika and the nesina has to be connected the foundation of the mizbeach, like we saw all those pictures we had in the Rashi, that the yisai did not go all the way around the mizbeach. Shina ba'achilasan, you can. But they're not all consistent. The Bechar and the Meiser and the Pesach, they have different rules about who could eat it. HaBechar nechal l'kehanim, the Bechar belongs to the Kohen and he's the one who eats it. But Meiser l'chol adam, a Meiser you bring to Yerushalayim and anyone could eat it. But nechal and Bechol ha'ir, but all of them can be eaten all around Yerushalayim. Bechol meichel, in any preparation, except for, like we're going to say, except for the Pesach. L'shnei yamim v'layla echad. This is for the Bechar and Meiser. You eat it for 2 days and 1 night like a shlom. HaPesach ein nechal ela b'layla. The Pesach is only eaten at night. Ve'ein nechal ela ad chatzos, and you can only eat it until chatzos. The Gemara is going to say the reason for that. Ve'ein nechal ela l'minuyav. It's only eaten by the people who were included in the group in the beginning, that they together got this Pesach. And it also has to be roasted, unlike the Bechar Meiser that can be prepared in any way. Mantana, who is this Manda Amr who says that the Bechar, the Meiser, and the Pesach also has Zrikas Dam on the Mizbeach, just like the Bechar? Amar Chizda Rav Yosef Glilihi. This is Rav Yosef Glilihi. Tanya, basically, Chelva lo'ne'amar ala chelva, Dama lo'ne'amar ala dama. This is by the Pasha. Ach Bechar Shara Bechar Kesa by Bechar Eis Loisef. This is the pasuk of Bechar. Koideshem as Damam Tizrak al Mizbeach as Chelgam Taktiv. What he's saying, Damam Mechavan Lashon Rabin. We're talking about a Bechar. It's only one. So that tells you Liman Bechar Umaisu Pesach Shetun Matan Dam Ve'Mu Megab Mizbeach Keneged. So it tells you both things. The Chelva and El Chelvam Dam. So it tells you that they need Matan Damim and Emurim. The Dam is the Dam, Matan Damim, and the Emurim is burning the Emurim on Mizbeach. They both need it. That applies to not just the Bechar, but also to the Meiser and Pesach. Keneged Yisoidim Nalan. Where do we know that you also need that the Zrika's Dam has to be a single Zrika opposite the Yisoidim? Or there's an Asher Zrika Me'oila. We learn it out from Oila. It says Oila by Zrika by Oila, and it says Zrika by, I think, by the Bechar. What does Rashi say? It says Zrika from Oila by the Bechar. Oh, no, it's in the right. So it's the Bechar, and that also includes Meiser and Pesach, like we said. But Oila Gufa Minalan. How do we know by Oila? The Chsiv al Yisoid HaMizbeach Oila. Tyre says by the Oila it should be on the Yisoid. Leave it al Oila Chayva Shatuni Yisoid. That tells you that the Oila needs Yisoid, so therefore we learn it out to Bechar Meiser. Imalahan Shtei Matana Shein Arba Avkan Shtei Matana Shein Arba. So the Gemara says, so why don't we learn out the same? Why don't we just learn out you need on the Yisrael? Let's learn out that you need Shtei Matana Shein Arba as well. Amavaya Lomle Lemichtav Saviv Ba'oila Saviv Bechatas having a Shnei Ksuvin Abon Kechad. Torah says Saviv Ba'oila and says Sa'oila Bechat Saviv Bechatas. So it says that these need to be Shnei Matana Shein Achas Shein Arba. But only these. You can't learn out from there to Bechar and Maisa. That's good. But if you say Lamnim, what are you going to say? It also says Shloish by Asham Sa'ad. Everyone will agree that if you have Shnei Shalosh Ksuvas Abon Kechad She'ein Melamdim. Okay, I'm going to stop over here in case anyone still has to get to Shul.